Hey guys, Taki here. Today we have another mod video, but this time we're going to be looking at mods and accessories for the ROG Ally. And we have a few of them here, and one of them is a really decent option to get. The products that we're going to take a look at in this video are all for the ROG Ally, but there are Steam Deck versions of all of these, and I think I have videos for all of the products that we're going to be taking a look at today on the Steam Deck. In some cases, I still have those products on my Steam Deck, so we'll be able to do a direct comparison between both units and both mods in this video. In no particular order, we have the ModCase for the ROG Ally. This has a front cover and a back shell, along with an accessory mount and a built-in kickstand. On the small end, we have the Silicone Grips for the ROG Ally, a tempered glass screen protector, and the biggest thing that we're going to take a look at is the RGB transparent backplate, and this is the one that we're going to start out this video with. Before we get started, let's just quickly go over what we have inside this kit. Alright, we have a few more things than I expected. We have the clear back shell, a set of stickers, what I'm assuming is the RGB module with the battery, screwdriver, a bunch of touch caps, some prying tools, and what looks to be some plates that we can put over that RGB assembly. We also have a set of gloves and a charging cable for the battery that comes with the RGB. Let's get started with the teardown on this, and as with almost all of the mod videos that I've done, I have a helper for this, which is part of the reason why I like doing these videos in the first place. Okay, so you can do those ones, and I'll do these over here. All right, we have the back shell off. Now we need to remove the back buttons and the triggers. Once we have that screw removed, we should be able to push in those two taps and remove this button. And now for the other side. And that one's removed. After that, we just need to take off these, but I am seeing some differences between these shells, and I don't know if it's going to have any impact on the usability of this. The first thing I'm noticing are these two posts right here. They have a foam pad in the middle, and they're completely missing from this clear shell case, so I wonder if that's going to have any impact on the structure of this once it's assembled. Now we're going to put all of those buttons back into this shell. Okay, the shoulder buttons are done. And we gotta push these in, and I gotta get the screw and the spring. At this point, we're almost done. Now we just need to cover this little light sensor here with a sticker that they provided, and then we can assemble this into this gap that we have here. When it comes to this back plate, we have a couple of different options available to us, and we can also DIY our own. This one is just a loading bar. I'm not gonna use this. They've included 4 other ones that are already made. They have a NASA logo, a caution biohazard, a Chinese phrase that comes from ROG. I'm not going to use this, but the characters basically just mean like a person that's good at managing the household budget. It has a different meaning in the way that ROG uses it, but I don't expect many people outside of China are going to use this. And then you have these PlayStation icons. I think I'm going to use this one or the NASA logo. I'm not sure yet. If I go with this one, it's only going to be because it will show more of the RGB colors as they transition. This one's kind of limited because it's only in the center. We can actually test this out without even putting it in because there's a power button here on the top. If we hold that down, you can see that it'll power on, it'll cycle through a couple of different colors. We can take this off by just lifting up this flap over here on the corner, and then you can see the RGB panel underneath it. Here's how that looks with the NASA logo. I think it looks pretty cool. And here's the button labels. This one I think looks a bit better than the NASA one, but I might switch between the two of them depending on my mood. Then we just need to take this and slide it into place. It should just fill in this pocket, but we might have some trouble with this cable. The only worry that I have with this is there's a lot of heat that can build up over here, and I would be worried with how that would interact with this new plate that we're putting over here. The battery is the thing that I'm worried about the most, but that's all the way down here in the corner, so I don't think it's going to have a huge impact, but it is close to the SSD. That's just something that I'm going to keep an eye on. The last thing that we have to do is put a sticker over this battery. I originally wasn't going to do that, but it doesn't look great if you just leave it like this, so I will apply the sticker to the top of this battery. And here's how that looks. It's not pitch black like the rest, as you can see, but it looks better when the shell is on than if we just didn't use it at all. And now we should be ready to just close this thing up. So here's the back shell. Oh no, if I get dust under here, it's gonna ruin my life. All right, let me shut that off. Okay, I finally got the screw. You're over here working away. Got the last one. We have a couple other goodies in here that I wasn't expecting to see. Inside that bag, we have this silicone cover to go over the XG mobile slot, so we only have that USB port visible. This is actually pretty cool, and it probably should have been included by default with this device. It doesn't fit perfectly in here, but it is good enough. I have seen some 3D printed options that you can go with, and either one of those would be a great choice, especially if you know you'll never use the XG mobile slot. But all in all, this is actually looking pretty clean. With this case, we now have a second USB port that we'll use to charge that battery in the back plate. And we also have a button here that we can use to turn on the RGB. And we can press it again to turn it off. In terms of case quality, this clear shell doesn't look as good as some of the clear shells that I've seen for the Steam Deck, but it is pretty nice. There are only some slight minor imperfections in this back shell that you can see if you're looking very closely, but at a glance, it doesn't look bad at all. We have two different thumb caps that we can use. I'm going to test out both of them to see which one is the better option. All right, and after we have them installed, we have a smaller one and a bigger one. I think the bigger one feels kind of goofy, so I won't use this one. This one right here isn't that bad, but I have no problem with the sticks by themselves. I'm going to opt for not using either of them. Before we move on to the next product, this is how that light looks. It is very subtle, but it does look pretty cool. Our next accessory isn't compatible with the last one that we're going to look at, so I'm just going to do it now. This is actually the one that I like the most out of this entire collection, and it's the one that I think is worth buying for most people. These are silicone handle grips, and I've been using the set that's in this box for a couple of weeks now, and they're really good. So inside that package, we have 2 grips, a set of joystick caps, a set of rubber pads that you can put on the M1 and M2 buttons, and the same XG mobile cover. So these are great for 2 main reasons. The first one is it will protect your device if you're going to lay it on a table. Ally will rest in these 2 positions, and if you have a rough desk, then it can get scratched up a bit. The stock case holds up well to wear and tear. Mine still looks pretty good, but I like having this kind of protection, and this is the same kind of product that I use on one of my Steam Decks. The second benefit is in ergonomics. This edge here can get kind of rough if you're playing this for a long time, and with these grips, it feels much better in the hand. These don't feel as good as the ones that I use on my Steam Deck, but they definitely feel a lot better than without using them at all. I think they could have done more to refine this edge here with these grips, but they still are a lot better than the stock experience. Our next accessory is a tempered glass screen protector. They say that this is an anti-glare screen protector, and the ROG Ally already has that, so I'm wondering how this is going to look if we double up. The only weird part about this is that they say this is ultra clear, so maybe it is a glossy screen and it's not matte, I'm not really sure. Inside this package, we have 2 screen protectors, an application assembly, and a set of what I'm assuming are wipes to clean off your screen. And just holding them up like this, these are definitely matte screen protectors. It's kind of hard to judge how clear these will be once they're installed, but this is how they look right now. I'm going to do this assembly process off camera because this is kind of annoying to do. And here's how that looks after we have that fully installed. This is actually the second one that I used. The first one that I used went on clear, but there was like a rogue piece of lint that went right in at the last second and it ruined the entire thing. This application was almost flawless, but there seems to be some damage on the front of this that came from the factory. I didn't do this, and this isn't on the underside of this screen protector. This is on the top. I think they have a film over a clear piece of glass, and it is coming off a bit over here on the top. And I just wanted to boot up a single game so you could see how this looks. In person, this looks super matte. Like they weren't lying about the matte part. This thing is ridiculous. The default screen wasn't bad in this regard, so I don't know why they went overkill like this, but I guess this is useful if you found the stock screen lacking in that regard. I think the protection aspect of this is the thing that's the most valuable. You're going to lose some sharpness with this, but it does give you that added protection. And now we're ready for the last accessory that we're going to look at. This is the ModCase for the ROG Ally. I have not used this yet. Inside this box, we have a front shell, a strap, a second strap, and a protective shell that goes on the back of Ally. The big thing that you get with this is this back stand. Admittedly, I probably would have liked a bigger one like the OLED Switch, but this is a decent option to go with. It has a magnet that will put it back into place when you're done using it, and it is strong enough to hold up Ally when you have it on a table. The front protective shell is probably the most useful aspect out of this entire thing if you're going to travel with this. This goes over the shoulder buttons and protects the entire front half, and it is a hard shell that should be able to take some damage in a bag. The cool thing about this is you still have access to the charging port, but the bad part about this is the exhaust is blocked. So if this thing ever did turn on when you had it plugged in, then it could start heating up because there's nowhere for the air to go. But we still have one final part to the mod case, which are these back straps that you can use to hold different accessories on the back of Ally. So this strap allows you to secure a couple of different things in here. They sell this with a battery, but I don't have it. I have some other accessories from the Steam Deck mod kit that I want to try on this, but I will say that this module here doesn't seem as sturdy as it is on the Steam Deck. I don't know that I would necessarily trust a battery pack on this because if you just move around a bit, it's easy for this entire thing to come off. So that seems to be kind of an oversight in this. I only have 2 accessories that could potentially fit this mod case. One of them is an M.2 enclosure and the other is a dock. When it comes to this M.2 enclosure, this one won't be able to fit. If I put inside this strap, you can see that this Velcro is not set up to be able to secure something that is this small, and I can't put it the lengthwise either. So I'm going to just put this strap off to the side because I think it's the least useful of the 2. I also can't secure this with the second band that this comes with. For the USB dock, I'm not able to use the small one because it will block the ports, but I can secure this with the bigger strap. Here's how that looks when it's actually attached to Ally. So far, I'm not really impressed with this back mounting system that they have here. It was a lot better on the Steam Deck, and this kind of seems a bit half-baked. So the way that I look at the mod case is it's a really nice case with a nice hard shell for the front cover that will protect your Ally when you put it in a bag. The back shell is also nice, but it is not as soft as those other grips that we looked at in this video, but the kickstand is pretty cool. This back mounting assembly doesn't seem that good, and I don't see myself using this for any of the accessories that I have, including battery packs. I think those would just fall out. But now that we've gone through the entire thing, I think we can compare these products to the Steam Deck equivalent, and I can tell you which one is better. So when it comes to the mod case, this is the Ally mod case here, and this is the one for the Steam Deck. The front and the back are pretty much the same, but this front shell feels a bit stronger than the one for the Steam Deck. When it comes to the back, there is no kickstand on the Steam Deck one, but it has a much stronger mounting mechanism for whatever kind of accessories that you want to use here. This one uses a locking mechanism that is not going anywhere once it's in place, and I don't know why they went with this style because it's not working that well in the test that I did. I don't have an equivalent product of this like super matte screen protector, but I do have the RGB backplate for the Steam Deck. There are a few points about this. I think the shell is a bit better on the Steam Deck kit than it is on Ally, and I also think the RGB lights are a bit better than they are on the one for Ally. That just leaves us with the silicone covers, and there's not really a big difference between either of these, but I would say the impact of having it on the Steam Deck is not as significant as it is with Ally. The Steam Deck already feels really comfortable in the hand, but this does have an impact on Ally, and it is probably the thing out of all of the things that I did in this video that I would recommend the most. It makes a meaningful improvement in terms of ergonomics. But that's all we've got for this big video on ROG Ally accessories and mods. You can find links to all of these down in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see another, take a look at a video that I did on the RGB kit for the Steam Deck. Happy gaming, everyone. Taki out.